we are so much stronger together. You know what the Slavic country is, and I'm afraid that it's gonna be forgotten, and we don't want to happen. Should be in America. She's like a perfect fit. So it kind of got stuck in my head. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams because you don't know who's gonna be listening. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Chtěli byste studovat v USA? Mrkněte na náš web www.study-gate.cz a využijte naší bezplatné konzultace a slevy na naše služby 10% s kódem CHCI do USA 10. Přejeme vám příjemný poslech a moc děkujeme za vaši podporu. Welcome to the StudyGate podcast. Today we are honored to have Aneta Toporowska Lennartson, CEO of Slavic Experience and owner of Top Law PLCC. Let's dive into her story. Welcome, Aneta.
Thank you so much for having me.
What does it mean to be Slavic in the US, and how can we build a sense of belonging?
A sense of belonging by sharing the same, values that we have. And that's why the biggest motivation for Slavic Experience is to cherish the values we all share, like food, music, family, to come together to have a belonging, similar languages, similar food, similar costumes and outfits. That's what brings us together, and that's what brings us closer. And that's the whole idea about Slavic Experience. Have the mission, create the love, and just show the world that we are so much stronger together. Even though in the current climate, what's happening in the world, that love overcomes evil, and we can still stay strong and be together and value and cherish what we have.
Mm-hmm. And what does it mean to be Slavic in the US? I mean, from the perspective of experiences, I guess. Is there something you would point out? Is there something that stands out for you?
Well, I think the Slavic communities tend to gather in the small communities around their churches or whatever restaurants or stores that they have. But some of the states don't have it in America, not like huge conglomerates like Chicago or New York. In Minnesota, we don't. We only have like one small establishment with the Ukrainian food and the Moscow on the hill with some Russian roots. We don't have any access to any other Slavic stores or restaurants. So the only outlet for us to celebrate and do something could be festivals. And there is a Simply Slavic festival on the East Coast. So let's say it's not really an East Coast. And here in the Midwest, in Minnesota. So yeah, being Slavic, unless we cultivate the culture at home with our own kids, we don't have much outlets to cultivate our Slavic culture besides that. So that's why building a community like I'm trying to do, not only in Minnesota and Minneapolis, I'm trying to engage all the states in the country. And most of our guests that we invite are from Europe, Eastern Europe, and having then, musicians or performers or dancers, the people that we don't have access to in America, to grace us with their presence and do that. But yeah, if we don't cultivate, if we don't remind the world, what the Slavic country is, and I'm afraid that it's gonna be forgotten, and we don't want to happen.
I would like to start from the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to United States from Poland, and what inspired you to do this journey?
Sure. Yeah, it's I don't know how much time you have. It's an hours of talk. But no, in a nutshell, how it happened. I was 17 years old when I embarked on my journey to America. I wanted a dream of becoming, a citizen or coming here because my grandma back in the 80s, she used to work in Chicago, and she would send the packages and gifts, and I would study English from the hot cocoa boxes. and I was so excited. And my personality, I was always energetic, always in sports, and everybody would always tell me, Anetka should be in America. She's like a perfect fit. So it kind of got stuck in my head. So when I was 17, without any family, any friends in here, I came here. Initially, it was a total disaster. My American dream died on the farm in Michigan with 300 cows. So my dream of marrying Brad Pitt and then being in Beverly Hills kind of died right there. But that didn't stop me. I moved to Chicago. I worked really hard. I got into universities. I went back to Poland for a little bit to start an American school, National Louis University, and then I was headhunted for an internship a few months later, and I got a scholarship to come back to school, do my master's degree. And then I ended up going to law school, and I made one speech and one presentation and one of the big meetings with the Rotary Club, and that's I called that day a big miracle in my life because I grabbed the microphone and I helped and I made a speech, and that impressed a lot of people. One person came up to me and said, "Do you have 5 minutes?" I said, "Oh boy, I don't know what he wants from me." And I was reluctant to go and meet with him. It turns out he was a director of international studies at San Scholastica College. And he says, when I heard your speech, you made me cry. And this is my school, which he was representing, is for for a girl with big dreams like you. So I was speechless for the first time in my life. And it was a special scholarship just for Polish people. And it just saved my life. And that's the only reason I'm here. So don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams, because you don't know who's going to be listening, So that's my story in a nutshell.
Thank you. And can you remember the biggest cultural shock at the beginning?
Yeah, how everything was so big. The big highways, the big cars, the big homes, the amount of food that people eat. I was like, whoa, I've never seen buffets or portions like this. So it was a huge shock. I'm not used to that. It's like 26 years now. But yeah, that was my biggest surprise, I think.
Mm-hmm. How did your experiences as an immigrant shape your professional goals? Because now we know, as I said in the beginning, you established Slavic Experience, you are CEO, you are helping really create these beautiful events. So I guess the answer in short would be a lot, but just elaborate about how it shaped your career goals and maybe what goals you have now in terms of this heritage,
Sure. Yes, I've been always propelled by, cultivating the cultures and helping immigrants. That's how my story with the legal career essentially started. I worked for corporate America after I got my master's degree. It was mostly management, but I witnessed a lot of discrimination, not only for myself, but for other immigrants around me, older people. So I decided to change the world, like all they say, right? And I decided to go to law school and change that. So I did not work in the corporate legal career. I started my own law firm. So I can have a better access to the immigrants. I was always working as an interpreter since I got here. So I created my law firm right after graduation, and I was doing solely immigration work. So I got help thousands of people get their green cards and citizenships and asylums. So that gave me a lot of, gratitude and a lot of passion to know that I helped one of us and to navigate the system, to navigate the language, to get the proper paperwork. So now I have two law firms, one in Minneapolis and one in Savage, and I'm still doing a significant amount of immigration work, but I also do a lot of family law and some probate kind of wills and trusts as well. And that everything started there. And then I ventured into a food business to propagate our Slavic culture, to introduce pierogi to the world. I have a food truck called Pierogi to Gogi. Through the food truck, I've been selling knedliki and potato pancakes and crepes and kolachki and everything to show it to the American culture, to the people, what a great food it is. And then, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's created the Twin Cities Polish Festival in 2008. And that's been going for many years. And in 2019, I was so excited about other cultures, growing communities in Minneapolis, a lot of Ukrainian, Czech, Slovak, Bulgarian, Serbian communities, to bring them all together and create something spectacular. So that's my goal. Pandemic kind of put a wrench into our plans and we had to postpone a couple times, but this would be our third one. And we're very excited.
Mm-hmm. We already mentioned that you organize some events for the Slavic experience and Slavic community. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah. We created this would be our third edition. Slavic Experience is a huge festival. We have music, we have dancers, we have food. We're trying to get all those cultures of 13 Slavic countries and Carpathorusins together. We have quite a large Czech and Slovak communities in Montgomery and New Prague in Minnesota. So they have their special radio. They have their festival. One is called Dožinky, and they have Kolachki days. We have a capital of Kolachki in the United States. It's right here in Minnesota. It's just like 45 minutes away from here. So I've been there with my food truck. I've been selling some Czech and Polish food there. So it's pretty amazing. We have musicians from around the world, from all those countries. This year we're going to have the ponchki eating contest, pierogi making contest. We have first time we have a fashion show, so we want all the countries to represent their costumes. We have fashion designers creating special creations so they can show it on the runway. So I'm really excited about that. So we want vendors, we want sponsors to help us pay for the performances because it's a free event. We do not charge a cover, so people can come in and look at those beautiful, colorful outfits and musicians for free. And we have a famous Czech DJ living here in Minneapolis. Her name is Lenka Paris, and she's been always performing at our festival. So she's an integral part of our festival for sure.
Yeah, that all sounds amazing, and we would definitely like to invite our listeners to the festival. And of course, if there is any sponsors or even artists among our listeners, they should probably check out your website and definitely email you because it's an amazing initiative.
Yeah, if we have any craft vendors that make, like gifts or T-shirts or any knick and knacks, representing Slovak or Czech culture, that would be great. Any singers, any people that play instruments, any vendors that are selling their services or promoting their products, they're welcome to register on our website. It's really affordable and it's a huge exposure to potentially thousands of people. So a really great opportunity for everybody to be involved. And they don't have to be from Minnesota. Like I said, they can come from Europe or they can come from any state here in the States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as I can hear, love goes through the stomach, really, because as you said, food, there is a lot of food. I guess, how important is food culturally? Because as you said, you have food truck, which is amazing. And to me, it seems like completely, I guess, not random, but, you have your law firm, you have your law company, and then food truck. It sounds really amazing. So yeah, how important is food culturally?
I think it's really important because some people forget where they're from. The moment they see cabbage rolls or pierogi, like, oh, my great grandma was from here. Or, oh my God, I heard that name. So somebody's asking me like, why are you doing this? And I remember an episode from the Twin Cities Polish Festival when I was the only food vendor serving food. And I had an old gentleman, he was like 85 years old and he started crying and he was eating the cabbage rolls. And he's like, this is the happiest moment in my life. And that reminds me of all my childhood and my grandma when I was little. And that kind of touched my heart. And that's how my story with the food began. We're creating the legacy, people cherish memories. They will always remember that moment when they got it. So sometimes it's not about the money and prestige. Sometimes it's just touching people's lives and making a change.
Mm-hmm. So what are your future goals with the Slavic experience or your professional career?
Well, in terms of Slavic experience, I want this this festival will be the biggest in the world, the biggest Slavic festival in the world. I want all the countries to be involved and have an amazing representation. I want everybody every year to look forward to it and create something really fantastic that everybody will know about.
Or now, like as you said, you are helping people with green cards, and we have a lot of listeners here who want to have green card or who want to stay in the United States because of they have their reasons. So do you have any, I would say, is there any ultimate good advice from you can give to our listeners about green card, or if they want to apply for green card or any other visa?
Yeah, I mean, the current immigration, environment because of the elections is not the best. It's really difficult. Immigration system has been really slow since the pandemic. There's no any new opportunities, other than a little exception they created for Ukrainian citizens. There's nothing new. It's still either through sponsorship through family or through the employment. So seeking companies that would sponsor them, on long-term basis or even on H-1B basis, going to school and, maintaining that student visa, never falling out of status, obviously is the best advice. But yeah, I wish there were more opportunities for people. I know that we have, big illegal problem and everybody talks about Spanish communities, but unfortunately in the Slavic communities, we have that problem as well. And, every time somebody's running for a president, they promise they're going to do amnesty. A couple years ago, there were rumors that it's actually going to happen and nothing happened. So just taking advantage of the benefits that are out there and following the rules, and reach out to me if something else comes up. I'm willing to share that or post it, and if it becomes available, we can definitely jump on it and make it happen. But as of right now, it's just that all the rules still apply, and there's nothing else that we can take advantage of, unfortunately.
And you studied at the Michel Hemline School of Law?
Yes, yeah, Hamlin University.
Can you compare it with the schools in Poland, for example?
It's a completely different legal system, so there's actually not ability to compare. My brother is a lawyer in Poland, and what he went through and what I went through is not even close. Yeah, it's here is mostly common law. It's not like codex like we have it in Europe. So yeah, law school, it was only 3 years in here, not like in Poland for many more years. And exam, the hardest part was the bar exam. It's really difficult for people to pass that at the end of the law school. And some people take multiple attempts to pass the exam, but and then there's no specialization. Like in Europe, you have to specialize. You're either a notary or a criminal attorney or family law. Here, when you graduate from law school, you can do any law that you want. I can go to corporate, I can do bankruptcies, I can do criminal. Just because I chose the particular, areas of law is just because of my choosing. You don't have a special route how you study. So you take general kind of subjects and you just kind of see what you like. And I worked at the federal court. I clerked for the government. I was working in a lot of places. I worked for Immigration Legal Aid Society to kind of see what the niche is, like where do I, feel more comfortable. And that's why I chose the fields that I'm working on now. So it's a completely different system, not even comparable to the European one. I wouldn't say it's much easier, but in a sense, it is because it's based on the previous decisions of the court. So whatever the court decides to be the law, that becomes the law, especially in Minnesota. There's only one state in the United States that follows the civil law. It's the state of Louisiana. Everything else is based on the case law and kind of statutory languages. So yeah, it's pretty interesting if you ask me.
Yeah. Is there anything you would wish to know when you came to United States? Maybe something, some advice for our listeners, even, coming to the United States, maybe to universities or just to work.
Don't be afraid to ask. For America, I really like how easygoing the approach is with the professors. You can reach out to a professor. I mean, they give you their personal cell phone number, or like they don't want you to call them Mr. This, Mr. That. I mean, it's unheard of in Europe, right? There's a level of respect, and just the customary things that we do in Europe is so much different here. So yeah, don't be afraid to speak out. People are afraid that they're not going to be understood, or don't worry that your English is not perfect. Don't worry that you don't understand something. Just go ahead and ask for help. Go ask for resources. If they're not saying that there's a job available, go and ask about it anyways. If they say this book is not available, go and ask for it anyways. I mean, the opportunities in America are extraordinary. So please take advantage of all of that if you can.
Yeah, that's awesome advice, and thank you for sharing it, because I agree with you that there is a lot of opportunities, and if you are active, you can use them, and it's amazing. Yeah, thank you very much for the inspirational interview. We invite all our listeners to check out the Slavic Experience website and attend Slavic Experience Festival. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me, and see you all at the Slavic Experience.
Pokud vás tento příběh zaujal a chtěli byste si život v USA vyzkoušet na vlastní kůži, podívejte se na náš web study.gate.cz.
A teď už jenom stačí dát odběr, ať vám neutečou další super epizody se zajímavými hosty. Moc děkujeme.